What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. How's it going, everyone? I am really excited. I'm so glad that these have started up again, that we've been able to work them into the schedule. I've missed doing this. So thank you for joining us, everyone. Some of our old favorites, as well as some of the new subscribers. Thank you, everyone who's been remembering to show us a little love by subscribing to the channel. Awesome. Very cool, very cool. Just like everyone that's been heading over to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's nice to see you doing that and seeing what we are doing over there. And of course, we got the Two Gun Pixie Zazzle store. We have some of our merch on hats, shirts, designs, anywhere we could put them that were inspired by general nerdyism or our love for RPGs. Thank you, even if you've just looked, even if you didn't buy anything. Thank you for taking some of your time to see what we have over there. But we are back, like I said. We are back for the Two Gun Review, everyone. So I kind of revamped this a little bit. This is being done a little bit more the way I used to, almost 4 years ago? No, it can't be that long. It must be about 3 years when I started doing written reviews. And I had a certain style that I did them in, and I want to do that again, but with the videos. So we have a game I have played a lot of, I'll tell you, between the review copy and then the actual copy. And that's by FunDaMental Games, Legends of Novus.
Wow.
Alright, so why don't we get down to the table and start this Two Gun review. I'll see you there in a moment. Legends of Novus, a game by Wesley Woodbury. A brave new world, in need of brave new heroes. This is by FunDaMental Games. Now, we've already had a lot of fun with Duel of the Dragons, which came out about a year earlier or so than Legends did, and it's a really neat 1 or 2 player card game. So when Wes announced that this was coming out, I was very excited with everything he had to say about the game. I've talked about the game. We had a review copy that we showed off and we played through. I want to show off and talk about this game now that the final copy is here and we've played some more. So first things, this is a product review. It is not just a review of how the game plays. My Two Gun reviews are full product reviews. And the first thing I want to start with is the first thing anybody is going to notice. And that's the box. The box is good. It has a nice, solid craftsmanship, so to speak. But it is good. It is sturdy. And it does its job very well. Now, the art on the box, I really enjoy. Overall, I think Butera and Tarano did some amazing work on the art. Now, I overall, and I'm going to say this a few times, although I love the actual art itself, many times, especially for the cover, I think it's a little too dark. I think that it needs to pop off the screen or pop off the shelf just a little more. And I understand what's going on in the scene with this Hydra at sea and it's night. I get it. But maybe if there'd been some lightning in the background or something to make a little bit more of illumination, it could have just made it grab you a little more. But generally, I do love this art. Now, the back of the box, I adore. This is amazing. This tells the prospective buyer really everything they need to know about the game. everything, how the game, what the game is played, what the goal is, what your ideas are going through this game, how the game is going to come through, and what to expect inside, how everything's going to look. Did a really good job on the back of the box. So I'm happy with the box. I think the art could have just been a little bit brighter, but I like it. But that's not the only thing about the box. There's also the inside of the box. So I'm going to take a quick look, show you the inside of the box. This, okay, well, myself, and I'm sure others, are not really ever overly happy with most inlays that come with games. This, I mean, it doesn't really fit. It's a little bit too small. It keeps bunching up like this. Whew. I mean, yeah, we're used to not having, expensive inlays in boxes. I get that. I understand that. But I just wish there'd been a tad more thought or construction, a little better construction done for the inside of the box and the inlay. So overall, the box is good, though. Regardless of this, overall, it is a good sturdy box. It's going to last a while, and it looks nice. It does look nice. Now, let's talk about components here for a moment. And the first thing I want to start with here will be the board. Boards are highly important, right? I mean, everything. They're the center of everything in an actual board game. So here's your board for Legend of Novus. I love this. I love the fact that it's not big. Look at that. It's not big at all. It's not going to take up a huge footprint on the table, which is good because there's player boards and cards that go along the side, which we'll get to and I'll show you. So that's going to add on and take up more space. So the fact that the playing board itself, the world or this island nation or continent of Novus is not, a 3 foot wide, 4 foot long, massive epic board. This is beautiful. The art, I totally enjoy the art because it makes me think I'm looking at a fantasy novel. The inside cover of the fantasy novels where sometimes they would have atlases or maps of the fantasy world. And this makes me think of that. The font, the letters, they're all easy to read pretty much from wherever you're sitting at the board. I mean, a couple are a little bit dark, but we haven't had a problem really reading anything. So that's also a bonus. I'm glad that no overly fancy fonts were used that make it difficult to read. Definitely cool. Oh, and the board is nice and sturdy. I like the construction of the board. It is put together and built well. There you go. Now, I did mention that there's going to be other things taking up room on your table. And the main thing are these player boards. I got 2 of them there. These player boards are going to record and hold all your information. So I like the fact that it looks like a tome. It looks like some grimoire from a fantasy novel or series. And the inside, can you dig that? Can you see it? It's dual layered board. So there's spaces to hold the cards, to hold your trackers. I dig that. If you have special exploration tokens or something, even when you hold your money, there's a little depression. So, I mean, it's going to hold it from gentle nudges while you're playing the game. Obviously, it's not going to hold it if someone flips your board on you. But it's a nice touch. I really do dig it. I don't understand, since the cards are regular cards, I don't understand the circular cuts in here. I don't. But at the same time, I know I like it. I wish this could have been a tad sturdier. But thinking of it from a production point of view, I can see that that might not have really worked. This may be, if not the best, one of the better sturdy sizes this could have been for the dual layer. I'm not sure. But overall, I do. I really dig this. I wish it could be smaller. I wish it could be smaller, and I've thought about this and thought about it, but there's no way that I can really think that would accommodate this any smaller concerning the cards and everything that has to be on it. So this is probably the best size we can get. But I really like this player board, this grimoire of a character folio. Very cool. Now the cards for the game come in several decks. Woo! Such as the adventure deck. We also have the encounter decks, and you see the different symbols that are used to denote the decks, along with the color scheme. So, I mean, that's subtle. It didn't really pop out to me much at first, but the subtleness I obviously picked up from, because though there are very close similarities, I was able to tell the back of the decks really, very fast, very, very well. It wasn't a problem. The cards have some really nice art. I mean, look at that. This is from the encounter deck. All the different creatures, the monsters that have been cursing the land of Novus ever since the magical maelstrom ripped through. Yeah, I mean, this is really, really cool. Artwork is great. And they're easy enough to read once you know the iconography for how much experience you get from it versus its combat value and how to read the note on it. These are really super easy to understand as soon as they come out. And the adventure deck has some really cool encounters. I mean, exactly what it is. Adventures that will happen. And special events that are going to pop up during your travels. You know, adding to your stories and making your stories different every time. Now, these cards are not linen finished, but they're really nice. I'm probably going to have to end up sleeving these, and I only just started getting into card sleeving, but because of how often I feel like we're going to be playing this game, or potentially playing this game, I want to protect these cards. Oh, so this is it. So like this helmet, it would just go right here because that's a helmet space. So you would know what you have there, and you'd be able to read and add any notes that you need to fix up your stats. It comes right off. So I don't know why this depression is. Is that just for aesthetics? I mean, I like it, but I don't. No, I don't understand it. And then other things have other slots. If you look over here on the side, it has that scroll, which means it's an item. So that could be put here or here or here or here when you're storing things. So this really is a really good way to keep track of your gear. If there was like a deluxe version of this, I would love a little clear plastic strip, maybe. Not a whole cover, just a little clear plastic strip, like on a deluxe version. That'd be pretty cool. And weapons denote one hand or two hands when you're putting them out. Like this one is a two-handed, so it wouldn't be able to have both of them active. You could sell this later if you're in town or put it back in your hand. So yeah, the cards are really nice. They're cool. There's no sort of static cling to them. I like that too. They're very smooth, the way they come off of each other. There's no problem with that. Now the tokens in the game, good quality, good stock and sturdy. I like it. Not a problem with these at all. And they popped out very easily. There was no ripping or tearing, so that's another bonus. But the kind of problem I do have with these tokens, and same thing here with the money. Let me put these out, for example. See, now my big problem with this is the colors kind of wash together a little bit. Again, there should be a greater difference, I think, between the background and the icons. You really need to be able to just see these a lot faster, a lot easier, And it's nicer for the eye when it does just leap out at you. But yeah, I like the quality and everything. They serve their purpose very well. But overall, I think that maybe there could have been just a little bit more thought about how the colors seem. And it's funny too, because I'm looking at the camera screen, and I'm noticing that it actually looks a little bit more like it's popping on camera than it does under the regular lighting here in the room. But no, these are good tokens. They're going to last a while. And like I said, they come out, they pop right out pretty darn easy. Now, FunDaMental Games decided to go with standees instead of miniatures. And honestly, that's fine for me. Since I don't paint miniatures, sometimes I actually prefer the standees because at least they're in full color. But let me show you the standees. I'm going to put the map back down there for a moment. So here's an example. This is Kane. He's a Knight of Exeter. He's one of the choosable characters in the game. So I mean, the art looks great, right? I mean, this is just like the card. Fantastic art. And these things slip on nice and easy. They've been on and off several times, and there's still no wear or tear on these. So I like that. And they're all, pretty much the same, right? Very cool. But one of my problems is, and this is a minor problem, it has nothing to do with the actual game itself, but I tend to find that the standees sitting on the board, they're a little bit big. Now, cutting them down half size, I think would be too much. So maybe cut it down the middle, so to speak. But I prefer the standees over miniatures, especially in this case right now, because it's beautiful art and it's full color. So I like them, and they're good. They're sturdy quality, like every other token in this game. So during this game, one of the things you may be doing to win the game after you get your 25 experience points is to complete 3 quest events, which are all epic events that you need to accomplish. But another way is taking out one of the giant quest creatures that roam the land, such as the Krager beast. Now, he's the lowest combat value of them. Each of these cards, such as the Jungle Worm Jurgan, Sistos, the Scorpion Spider, Kronig, the Ice Giant, Xmatic, the Lich Lord, Asira, the Sea Hydra, Asmakai, the Mind-Crushing Demon, or Monsinius, who also got trapped in this world for a while, the Volcanic Dragon. These are creatures that not only represent pure evil ravaging the land, but when you look at these cards, they are so easy to read. Just like the monster cards, once you know the iconography, you're walking through this card. But I also love the back of these cards have stories telling you about each of these encounter creatures, these quest creatures, these monstrosities, including this extra one here, Eisendrax, the Elemental Evil. He's the only one I haven't read yet. I'm going to change that right now. And the cards are great. They're sturdy, beautiful art. Again, a lot of the art, I think, could pop a little bit more on the colors. I understand going for the dark theme and everything. But, see, this is not bad. This is a little bit brighter than the cover box was. I like this level of darkness versus light. But these cards are great. They're fantastic. They're fun. They even have a nice tile size map with no cities or roads, just sort of like an atlas style map. Cool. Now, there is also, with this game, something that you're going to need as you're playing through it, and that's they've given a location guide. This is actually really cool and handy, and it is very important for the game itself, because any named place that you get to, such as, let's say, Nost, you're going to look over here, and you're going to find Nost, such as right here, the City of Hills. And it'll tell you everything you need to know when you enter this area. At the end of your adventure phase, if you are in Nost, you may discard any number of adventure cards, and you can gain 25 gold for each discarded this way. So this is another example of, again, the coloration is a little bit dark. It should be easier to read that. And in this case, I think it's the number 25. It maybe should have a dark outline. Maybe if it just had a black outline. I'm not sure. Same thing with all these symbols. They just need a little something. So they wash into each other a little much. But overall, this is really a fun addition to the game. And I can almost see an expansion with another island and get another location guide. Yeah, I could see that down the road. But this is well written. This has some really great art in it. And highly important information to the course of your game. And yet another map. I found the rules to be uncomplicated and actually rather smooth. Although you may experience a hiccup or two your first game, don't worry. Everything's going to make sense. It really does. These rules come together, gel together very, very smoothly. Outside of remembering at the beginning of each turn to just advance your dial so you know what turn it is, there's only 3 things that you really have to remember each turn. First is the preparation phase. You have a couple of things you can do, if you choose to, in any order. Move any reward cards that you may have in your hand. You may be holding on to some, and you can move them onto your player board. Now just keep track of the information it's telling you. Like currently there's a 2-handed weapon equipped, as you can tell by the icon. So maybe I want to remove that. And wait, look at that. See, look at this. Look at this. I don't have to do that because even though I have a 2-handed weapon, be careful. Read what these things say. This says you may have 1 additional hand equipment because these are just gloves. So maybe I want to add that down. And you put them in the right spot because the symbols are up top. Now, this great druid armor, I wouldn't be able to use because he's a knight. So some of the equipment is going to have class symbols on it. But there's no class symbol here, the chainmail armor. So I'll be able to put that down in its appropriate slot. And if you have any items too, right, like this brooch of flying, you gain 3 on the runaway, or you gain 3 on the runaway, or you gain 1 on your movement. So you can put that somewhere like here. Now, another thing you can do is if you have any of the adventure cards in your hand. This is another thing you can do, is you can play 1 adventure card. So maybe you need some more money. So you can always play medium treasure, get 10 gold pieces. That'll be added onto your stockpile. Or maybe you want to play a skill that you've acquired, like Master of Weapons. As long as you have a 2-handed weapon equipped or a weapon in each hand equipped, you gain an additional +1 combat value. Oh, wow. So that's a skill. Maybe you want to put that down there. Or maybe you have an adventure card that's an event, like the Gladiator's Arena. Play this event only at the start of your turn. This event replaces all phases of your turn except for the recovery phase. You're going to face an encounter, resolve it, face a second encounter, resolve it, face a third encounter, resolve it, and then go to your recovery phase. Dun, dun, dun! Yeah, maybe you need that XP. You want treasure and rewards. So you decide to play that card out. Throw it to the discard pile. The next part of your turn is the adventure phase. And you really only have 2 options here. You're either going to travel or you're going to explore. So if you're going to travel, then you're going to take your standee and you're going to move it one or two spaces from where you originally started. Now, you can't finish a move back where you started. 1, 2. Now, you can go 1, 2. You can go 1. You can go 1, 2. But you can't end up back where you started. Now, while you're moving, remember that certain skills, rewards, or abilities may give you bonuses to how far you can move. Or some might even give you negatives. Maybe you're weighed down too much with too heavy armor. So make sure you double check anything and everything on your character cards, your character board, to make sure that you are moving up to the maximum amount allowable. Now, after you move, there's the travel die. There's the travel die. The travel die looks nice. It's not engraved like the two 10-sided dice are that come with the game. It's plastic, and it has the images are on it. It's not engraved. I kind of wish, again, that it didn't seem a little washed in together. Maybe something to make it pop a little more, but the colors do kind of bleed in or wash in together a little bit. But anyway, you roll the travel die after you move, and you kind of just do what it says based on the symbol. Like, this is an extra move. If I rolled this, then I would be able to take an extra move. Now maybe from the ridges of Kadar isn't as far as I could go. Now I can go all the way to Braille. Maybe I wanted to go there. Maybe this got very lucky. But that's not all. I mean, there could be an encounter that you will have to deal with. Perhaps not just an encounter, but maybe an actual adventure that you'll have to go on. And then again, who knows? Maybe, just maybe, you're going to just walk right in to a reward. Oh, 10 more gold. So that's what you use the travel die for after your move. Now, let's say you did not want to move, but you're in Vase City and you want to explore. That's the other option that you can do during your adventure phase besides moving, is you can explore the region that you are currently in. In this case, if you're going to explore, you are going to place an explorer token under your standee, like so. If it's a named encounter, like Vase City, then you're going to find out what happens, what goes on in Vase City. So this is all alphabetical. So you just go, in this case, to the back, and you go to Vase City right there. Beautiful, beautiful picture. When you sell an item in Vase City, you gain an extra 5 gold for each item sold. If you're a thief class, instead, you gain 10 extra gold for each item sold. So different locations are going to have different things that are going to happen, and they'll tell you when it happens, such as maybe on your explore phase, or the first time you visit a location. It'll tell you, and you'll know when. But check when you get to the city. So if there's no explore effect, then that's when you go to the adventure deck. And you're going to flip the top card of the deck and see what it is. Maybe you'll get to enchant a non-magical item and make it to combat value better. Maybe you'll be able to pay to join a caravan and literally go anywhere on the board for a movement. Maybe even a back alley deal where you're going to get to swap stuff between you and another player. However, if it is an encounter, it is not going to go to your hand. If it's an encounter, you're going to have that encounter. Now, if there was no explore effect, you could do that. You could draw from the top of the adventure deck and see what happens. Or, instead of flipping it, you have the option of either drawing an adventure card or a reward card and playing it into your hand. Now, if you have not faced battle this turn, and let's say you have this in your hand, then that's another thing you can do in the explore phase, is instead you can opt to play that. And that's really about it for the adventure phase. So from the preparation phase to the adventure phase, and then into the recovery phase. Now, the recovery phase mirrors the preparation phase, I've noticed, but I've also noticed that strategically it really makes sense the way everything goes through. So at this point, you could possibly recover yourself by maybe taking an equipment card. So at this point, you can do something like go through your reward cards, and maybe you want to equip something from that reward card, like a war horse. That definitely helps out. Now, another thing that you can do is if you have maybe a specific event in your hand, you would be able to have the opportunity now to play that out, such as the aforementioned enchant item. You'd be able to do that, and then take this and, let's say, put it under your boots. So now you know your boots are 3 combat value, magical, and not 2 combat value, non-magical. If you happen to be at a city location, then another thing that you could do is you can opt to sell some of your rewards. Like maybe you don't need these shin guards, so they're good for 5. You'll be able to sell them. Maybe for some odd reason you don't want your scroll of summoning. You can get 5 for that. Or 5 for a short sword. Wow, short swords is worth as much as a magical item. Most of these are. Ah, here we go. Here's a big selling item, the Spirit Hammer. Why would you want to get rid of that? Well, maybe you can't use it, because as you notice, only a clerical divine type can use that. Another thing you may want to do is trade gold pieces for experience points. And in the back of the card, in the recovery phase, it tells you right there that if you are in a city, you can exchange GP for XP as per the chart. Consulting the chart. See, 50 gold pieces gets you 1 XP. 100 gold pieces gets you 3. And 150 gets you a whole 5 XP. Halfway to be able to get an advanced class in this game. Speaking of which, the advanced classes are really cool. They remind me of 3rd edition D&D's prestige classes or 2nd edition D&D's character kits. So when you get 10 experience, now if you end up losing experience after you're at 10, like you're at 11, something happens and you go back down to 9, you won't lose your advanced class if you chose one at 10 experience points or better. Now, all the different classes have their class symbol. So this fighter, the knight, has the axe symbol. So any of the prestige class, I said it again, any of the advanced class cards that have that symbol, regardless of another symbol, as long as they have that symbol, so he could become a perfect paladin if he wanted to, or perhaps an aggressive assassin, a ballistic battle mage, or even take brutal beast form. And it counters anything on the previous class card. So anything here from Knight of Exer doesn't apply anymore once I decide to take, let's say, the brutal beast form. But yes, once you have 10 or more XP, you can get yourself a prestige class. Even if this goes back down below, you will still keep that. And then finally, you just have to discard. If you have more than 5 cards in your hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no! What am I going to do? Well, I don't need Druid armor, so I'm going to discard that. And I can't use the Staff of the Maelstrom, so I'll just discard that, leaving me these cards in my hand. Get some money. Could fight a savage beast if I need an encounter, a battle encounter. There's a Quest for Peace event. A spell book, I'll probably end up getting rid of that, or maybe selling it when I get into town. And my trusty Warhorse. So that's my 5 cards that I then decide that I want to keep in my hand. Now, after that, the first player starts all over again. First player is going to go through preparation phase, then adventure phase, then recovery phase. Next player left until finally one player has earned 25 gold pieces. And on top of that, that player also has completed either one quest creature or 3 quest events. And then they, and they alone, will be known for all time forward as the true Legend of Novus. Legends of Novus by FunDaMental Games. So that's it. That's the box. That's the components. That's the pieces, the tiles, the chits, the rules, even. That's everything. So, Two Gun Review is back. What is my review of this? My thoughts of this game. Now, I've been playing this game and enjoying this game, let's be fair, since before the Kickstarter was over. So I'm coming in a little biased because of that. I admit it. But overall, I have to say that my initial opinion of this game during the time of the Kickstarter has stayed true. I think this is a very fun game, an awesomely fun game, actually. I enjoy it entirely. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite, well, I was going to say dungeon delve, but actually this is more like world exploration style games, you know? Whether it's solo play or with others, because I think it works great both ways. So I'm looking forward to playing more of the completed version of this. Overall, this game has high replayability. It is super fun. And so far, it has never let me down. If you're a fan of fantasy games and you're looking for something that you can play solo or up to 5 players, and that each time is going to be a new, different adventure, different quest, different game, then please, Wesley Woodbury and FunDaMental Games has given the board gaming community a fantastic new fantasy game. Go check out Legends of Novus. I'm your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, and my friends, I am out of here.